promise to be faithful to our
Bam. What up, Yang Gang? We're going live. They're starting the ceremony a little early, so I figured I'd jump on here, and we're going to bring up the inauguration. There it is. Let's get ready for this madness. Yeah, so they're doing a bunch of intro stuff. Amy Klobuchar's doing her thing. I don't care to hear everything. I'm just trying to get everything ready here. Sorry, guys. Okay, just gotta manage all this shit. Okay. Yeah, sorry, guys. So, yeah, I'm just going to live stream this bad boy, and we'll do some commentary as we go. And here we go.
Always does. Goes forward as a nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
This conveyance of a sacred trust between our leaders and our people takes place in front of this shining Capitol dome for a reason. When Abraham Lincoln gave his first inaugural address in front of this Capitol, the dome was only partially constructed, braced by ropes of steel. He promised he would finish it. He was criticized for spending funds on it during the Civil War. To those critics, he replied, "If the people see the Capitol going on, it is a sign we intend the Union shall go on." And it did, and it will. Generations of Americans.
Could they have picked the worst speaker as far as I'm concerned? She sounds way too shaky. And at least we know her hair won't get too messed up because she's known for that hair and her silly things about Donald Trump. I like to see his hair do that in a storm, you know. But I just think I wonder why she's been chosen to be this introduction. I've never watched an inauguration that much in detail like this, so we'll see.
We pledge today never to take our democracy for granted as we celebrate its remarkable strength. We celebrate its resilience, its grit. We celebrate the ordinary people doing extraordinary things for our nation, the doctors and nurses on the front line of this pandemic, the officers in the Capitol, a new generation never giving up hope for justice. We celebrate a new president, Joe Biden, who vows to restore the soul of America and cross the river of our divides to a higher plane. And we celebrate our first African American, first Asian American, and first woman vice president, Kamala Harris, who stands on the shoulders of so many on this platform who have forged the way to this day. When she takes the oath of office, little girls and boys across the world will know that anything and everything is possible. And in the end, that is America, our democracy, a country of so much good. And today,
I don't think Andrew's going to be going there. I think he's in New York working.
And before this glorious field of flags, we rededicate ourselves to its cause. Thank you. It is now my honor to introduce to you the senator who has worked with me and so many others to make this ceremony possible. My friend and the chair of the inaugural committee, Missouri Senator Roy Blunt.
Mr. Blunt. Okay. I don't know who this person is personally. What a different view too. From them trying to overthrow our government. The same steps. It's crazy to think about.
Well, I should have known when Senator Klobuchar got involved, at least there'd be a touch of snow up here this morning. Of all the things we'd considered, I don't think snow was on my agenda until I walked out the door a moment ago. But thank you, Senator Klobuchar, and thanks to the other members of the Joint Congressional Committee on the Inauguration as we officially began the 59th inaugural ceremony. I also want to thank the Joint Committee staff and our partners, particularly our security partners, for the way they've dealt with unprecedented circumstances. When I chaired the inauguration 4 years ago, I shared President Reagan's 1981 description of this event as commonplace and miraculous. Commonplace because we've done it every 4 years since 1789. Miraculous because we've done it every 4 years since 1789. Americans have celebrated this moment during war, during depression, and now during pandemic. Once again, all three branches of our government come together as the Constitution envisions. Once again, we renew our commitment to our determined democracy.
Well, that's boring. I'm gonna cut away from that for a second. I want to ponder a little bit. I wonder what's going through Joe Biden's mind right now. Because I know this was probably a career dream of his. He ran for president 3 times. He never won a primary until South Carolina. So, excuse me. I'm curious what's going through his mind right now, and if he really understands I know he understands the challenge he's up against. That's silly, but I mean, I wonder what his plan is going to be. You know, he's been pretty transparent about his first 100 days, what his goals are, and I think that'll set the tone. But I'm just curious what's going through his head, and I wonder what Trump's doing right now. I don't mention that son of a bitch after today, honestly. I ain't gonna lie. And also, it's my son's birthday today. He's 17. My channel popped up on the subscription. Great day, Cheetos, Christ, stupid SAR is goddamn. Fred Frond, your channel popped up the subscription, so I'm gonna. Hey, cool, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, right now they've got a couple of people talking. I decided to turn it off. I'm not gonna listen to the entire thing word for word. If you guys want to jump in here, let me know. I have someone coming on here in a few minutes too. And here's the link if anyone wants to jump in. There it is. But yeah, we're gonna do some banter during this live stream too. I'm not gonna watch this thing word for word, second for second, but we'll jump in every once in a while until Joe Biden gets up there and gets his whole raise your hand kind of shit, you know. Just a bunch of typical political theater. This is how the whole thing should have went. And I don't know if anybody else has heard a single peep out of the insurrectionist wannabe lights, the diet coup people. I haven't heard a single murmur about any kind of upheaval in the area. So I'm curious what's going on down there in DC. If you guys have heard anything, I haven't seen anything. What up, Vaughn? Vaughn's in the house. But yeah, I wonder what's going on outside this ceremony where there's going to be protesters. Is like last night during our live stream with Reverend Wendy Hamilton and Erica Rhodes. Reverend Wendy said that DC is the protest capital. So there's always protests going, and I wonder what's going on outside there right now. If it's the psychopaths, or are they mostly arrested or scared to show their faces now that they'll probably be arrested upon sight? Should Trump have attended? No. He would have put a funky film on it anyway. It's pathetic, but he made his own bed. Yeah. Anyway, guys, sorry. Vaughn said here in the comments, do you think Donald Trump should have attended? I'm okay with him flying out the day before. And here's the thing. You know why he's not there? Part of the reason is he didn't. If he attended the ceremony, he would have had to have asked Joe Biden's permission to use Air Force One to fly his ass down to Florida. And it'll be curious what happens down there because the city of Mar-a-Lago, I think it's called Mar-a-Lago, is just the name of his place is Mar-a-Lago, but I think it's Mar-a-Lago, Florida, where he's going. But they already have a lawsuit going, ready to go. And they're going to sue him to say that when he signed his contract to build there, no one was allowed to have permanent residency there. So I'm interested to see how that goes. Of course, he'll be in court forever with them. He'll probably just spend money that he doesn't have on a lawsuit he can't defend. Let me see. Sloop says, I'm kind of expecting Biden to let the running of the U.S. to others. Don't think he has the energy needed to force people to run his agenda. I don't know, man. He's proved us wrong the whole time. Let's be real. I didn't think he had it in him anyway to run the whole damn thing, but he proved us wrong. So I'm basically wondering who will be the imminent grace. Yeah, I don't know. I think that Joe Biden will be the one leading. Like I said, he's shocked us before for a long time. So who knows? And his ego, man. He's been doing this for 40 something damn years. But it looks like the same guy is still talking. Yeah, they're doing a prayer. No, thank you. But yeah, so I'm just curious what's going on around the Capitol. Yeah, I know what you mean by that. Yeah, he can't stay for more than 3 weeks. But Trump, a contract is suggestion only to him. He's been sued by so many people in New York, it's not even funny, and around the world, honestly. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see him in court because he can't live there for more than 3 weeks at a time. Now he can leave and come back, but I'm not sure if that means like 3 weeks in a row. Then he'll leave for a week and come back, which he could do. I don't know, play some stupid games. But this is actually showing all the troops. Let's see what this is going on here. Well, this is the pastor guy.
Love, and its path is to
They're
give
still
ever
praying.
more of itself.
Look at Michelle Obama. Good Lord.
Today it is called
She is so beautiful.
American patriotism, born not of power and privilege, but of care for the common good, with malice toward none and with charity for all. For our new president, we beg of you the wisdom Solomon sought when he knelt before you and prayed for an understanding heart, so that I can govern your people and know the difference between right and wrong. We trust in the counsel of the letter of James. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. Pope Francis has reminded us how important it is to dream together.
Oh yeah,
By
Joe Biden's a
ourselves,
practicing
he wrote,
Catholic. I forgot about
we
that part
risk
too.
seeing mirages, things that are not there. Dreams, on the other hand, are built together. Be with us, holy mystery of love, as we dream together. Help us under our new president to reconcile the people of our land, restore our dream and invest it with peace and justice and the joy that is the overflow of love. To the glory of your name, forever. Amen.
Okay. Not to be a total turd, but no fist bumping and not wearing a mask. It just doesn't.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the presentation of our national colors by the Armed Forces Color Guard, the singing of our national anthem, and for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay. I really don't care to hear that music right now. So we'll just kind of keep it running here to the side. But yeah, we have a lot coming at us right now. They said that Biden was literally going to start signing dozens of executive orders today. So here in 24 minutes, he'll be president, and then he's going to go to work apparently. So like Schlutz was saying, I think he's going to surprise us. Honestly, I think he's going to surprise us a lot, and I hope that he has good. He should take a knee just for the laugh. That's right. Take a knee. Fucking ridiculous. But It's a ceremony, so I probably wouldn't take a knee there for that. But yeah, I'm interested to see what he's going to do because he has an opportunity to be a very, very great leader of change, which same can be said for Obama, but he didn't. But we weren't in such dire straits either. So I'm curious to see what he's going to do, and I really have high hopes. I'd like to see reoccurring cash payments be always in the back of his mind, because right now the Senate and and Congress is dicking around saying $1,400 more to make a total of $2,000. Like that 600 was what's going to push us over to be in excess. That's kind of frustrating to see that still, but yeah. Lady Gaga, is she the one singing? Oh, it's not playing. What the hell? Oh, my bad. My bad. I gotta scooch this thing over. My fault, guys. Well, come on. Damn you, internet. Sorry, trying to catch up. This is the only downside of live streaming is it takes up a lot of data, a lot of bandwidth while you're doing it. Oh boy. Oh boy. What's going on here? Oh, it is Lady Gaga.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight on the
Oh shit. Sorry, guys.
ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave through the night.
Son of a bitch. Come on. Damn it. Sorry, guys. This damn thing it's tough when we're both doing it at the same time. Shoot. Man, I have the fastest internet available here, too. Oh, she's got a dove on her chest. That's got a big honor for her. That's pretty cool, though. Well, and Slucci said, I would have chosen a conservative singer instead of someone Repubs will see as a Hollywood elite. I wouldn't have. Fuck that shit. They wouldn't have done the same thing, so fuck them. And to me, Lady Gaga represents
please welcome from the
forward
city of
thinking as far as I'm concerned.
Georgia Fire and Rescue Department, President of the International Association of Firefighters, Local 3920, Fire Captain Andrea M. Hall, for the reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance.
Boy. Bradley Cooper.
I pledge allegiance
That would have been funny.
to the flag
Oh,
of the
she's
United States
signing.
of America
Cool.
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bradley Cooper would have been a nice touch. I ain't gonna lie. Oh, she gave Joe a little dab. Little knuckles. Back to Amy. Here we go. With the hair.
What you are all about to be part of, America, is a historic moment of firsts. To administer the oath to our first African American, our first Asian American, and our first woman vice president, Kamala Harris,
Okay, here
it
we
is
go.
my great privilege to welcome to the inaugural stage the first Latina to ever serve on the Supreme Court of the
Oh,
United
okay.
States of America, Justice Sonia Sotomayor.
Oh, that's cool. Sotomayor.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the oath of office, followed by musical honors.
Are any of you guys at work? Anybody working today? I took the day off of work today, personally. It's a live stream with you guys and hang out. Oh, here we go.
I, Kamala Davy Harris, do solemnly swear
I, Kamala Davy Harris, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
Especially domestic.
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully discharge
that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Please welcome Jennifer Lopez to perform This Land
What?
Is Your Land and America the Beautiful, accompanied by members of the
Ooh.
President's Own United States Marine Band.
J-Lo's in the house. Looking fabulous. Just gorgeous. $50 damn years old too. Ah, hell, guys, sorry. Oy. Damn it.
This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me.
Damn. Please stop.
As I went walking down that ribbon of highway, I saw above me and in the skyway, I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. Oh, oh, this land, oh, this land was made for you and me. Oh, this land, oh, this land was made for you and me. You and me. Oh, America, America, God shed His grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood. From sea to shining sea. Una nación bajo Dios, indivisible, con libertad y justicia para todos. Let's get this land was made for you and me.
She's gonna pass out. She don't watch it. There we go. Good deal. That lucky fella.
Well, that was great. The sun is shining.
Jesus.
And Mr. President-elect, this is the first inauguration in the history of America where J-Lo was the warm-up act for Chief Justice Roberts. With that, it is now my distinct
She's such a
honor
mom.
to introduce the Chief
Mom
Justice
jokes.
of the Supreme Court of the United States, John Roberts, to administer the presidential oath to the next President of the United States, Joseph R. Biden.
Joey, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the oath of office, followed by musical honors.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me.
That's
I,
a
Joseph
thick-ass Bible.
Robinette Biden Jr., do
Jesus.
solemnly swear
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United
the
States
office of President of the United States,
and will, to the best of my ability,
will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Yeah, I like a short, sweet ceremony. Man, I trust me. I was thinking the same thing. He's like, could you repeat that or some shit? But I was going to be quiet. Their family Bible goes back to the 1800s. Wow. That's some white people shit right there. Oh, God. Yeah, Vaughn, for sure. I went through 2 change of commands on my ship, and yeah, they definitely last more like 3 or 4 hours. A lot more paperwork involved with taking over a command too. Joey, man, Trump's got to be fuming. I wish he was on
Ladies
Twitter
and
right
gentlemen,
now.
Please be seated.
Please be seated. I really wish Trump was on Twitter. Damn it! I'd love to like live stream his tweets while it's going on. I won. Still winning. I hope they reactivate Trump though, because I don't think it's really a good precedent to start for myself. Excuse me. Let me see here. You know what's funny? When you typed in, if you go to search and you look up Donald, I used to do Donald and Donald J. Trump will come up for president. Now it comes up. The first thing is Donald Glover. He's the first Donald to come up now. Nice. Let's see here. What the hell's going on? Yep, number 46. Yeah, there's no... Oh, I wonder what Don Jr. is saying. This is ridiculous. I'll say Don Trump Jr. hasn't tweeted anything in the last 13 hours or
My fellow Americans,
15 hours.
a moment we have all been waiting for. It is now my great privilege and high honor to be the first person to officially introduce the 46th President of the United States, Joseph R. Biden Jr.
Well, corporate Democrats, you got what you wanted. For sure bet. Politics as usual. We'll see. I have high hopes, but we'll see. I'm also a skeptic.
Chief Justice Roberts, Vice President Harris,
Vice President.
Speaker Pelosi, Leader Schumer, Leader McConnell, Vice President Pence, my distinguished guests, my fellow Americans. This is America's day. This is democracy's day, a day of history and hope, of renewal and resolve. Through a crucible for the ages, America has been tested anew, and America has risen to the challenge. Today, we celebrate the triumph not of a candidate, but of a cause, the cause of democracy. The people, the will of the people has been heard, and the will of the people has been heeded. We've learned again that democracy is precious. Democracy is fragile. And at this hour, my friends, democracy has prevailed. So now, on this hallowed ground where just a few days ago, violence sought to shake the Capitol's very foundation, we come together as one nation, under God.
Uh-oh. Shit, sorry guys. Something's froze here. Come on. I might have to refresh it. Yeah, something happened to that feed.
This life-saving device stops a person from choking and...
Oh, for Christ's sakes. The damn ads, man. I know, I hate the ads. It's how we keep it for free, though. Let's be real.
We found a time more challenging,
I'm sorry about
more
that, guys.
difficult than the time we're in now. Once in a century virus that silently stalks the country. It's taken as many lives in 1 year as America lost in all of World War II. Millions of jobs have been lost. Hundreds of thousands of businesses closed. A cry for racial justice, some 400 years in the making, moves us. The dream of justice for all will be deferred no longer. A cry for survival comes from the planet itself. A cry that can't be any more desperate or any more clear. And now, a rise of political extremism, white supremacy, domestic terrorism, that we must confront and we will defeat. To overcome these challenges, to restore the soul and secure the future of America, requires so much more than words. It requires the most elusive of all things in a democracy: unity. Unity. In another January, on New Year's Day in 1863, Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. When he put pen to paper, the president said, and I quote, "If my name ever goes down into history, it'll be for this act, and my whole soul is in it." My whole soul is in it. Today, on this January day, my whole soul is in this, bringing America together, uniting our people, uniting our nation. And I ask every American to join me in this cause. Uniting to fight the foes we face: anger, resentment and hatred, extremism, lawlessness, violence, disease, joblessness, and hopelessness. With unity, we can do great things, important things.
There we go.
We can right wrongs. We can put people to work in good jobs. We can teach our children in safe schools. We can overcome the deadly virus. We can reward work and rebuild the middle class and make healthcare secure for all. We can deliver racial justice, and we can make America once again the leading force for good in the world. I know speaking of unity can sound to some like a foolish fantasy these days. I know the forces that divide us are deep and they are real. But I also know they are not new. Our history has been a constant struggle between the American ideal that we're all are created equal and the harsh, ugly reality that racism, nativism, fear, demonization have long torn us apart. The battle is perennial, and victory is never assured. Through Civil War, the Great Depression, World War, 9/11, through struggle, sacrifice, and setbacks, our better angels have always prevailed. In each of these moments, enough of us have come together to carry all of us forward. And we can do that now. History, faith, and reason show the way of unity. We can see each other not as adversaries, but as neighbors. We can treat each other with dignity and respect. We can join forces, stop the shouting, and lower the temperature. For without unity, there is no peace, only bitterness and fury. No progress, only exhausting outrage. No nation, only a state of chaos. This is our historic moment of crisis and challenge. And unity is the path forward. And we must meet this moment as the United States of America. If we do that, I guarantee you we will not fail. We have never, ever, ever, ever failed in America. We've acted together. And so today, at this time, in this place, let's start afresh. All of us. Let's begin to listen to one another again. Hear one another. See one another. Show respect to one another. Politics doesn't have to be a raging fire, destroying everything in its path. every disagreement doesn't have to be a cause for total war. And we must reject the culture in which facts themselves are manipulated and even manufactured. My fellow Americans, we have to be different than this. America has to be better than this. And I believe America is so much better than this. Just look around. Here we stand in the shadow of the Capitol Dome, as was mentioned earlier, completed amid the Civil War, when the Union itself was literally hanging in the balance. Yet we endured. We prevailed. Here we stand, looking out on the great mall where Dr. King spoke of his dream. Here we stand where 108 years ago, at another inaugural, thousands of protesters tried to block brave women marching for the right to vote. And today, we mark the swearing in of the first woman in American history elected to national office, Vice President Kamala Harris. Don't tell me things can't change. Here we stand.
It only took 100 years.
From Arlington Cemetery, where heroes who gave the last full measure of devotion rest in eternal peace. And here we stand, just days after a riotous mob thought they could use violence to silence the will of the people, to stop the work of our democracy, to drive us from this sacred ground. It did not happen. It will never happen. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Not ever. To all those who supported our campaign, I'm humbled by the faith you placed in us. To all those who did not support us, let me say this. Hear me out as we move forward. Take a measure of me and my heart. If you still disagree, so be it. That's democracy. That's America. The right to dissent peaceably within the guardrails of our republic is perhaps this nation's greatest strength. Yet hear me clearly. Disagreement must not lead to disunion. And I pledge this to you. I will be a president for all Americans. All Americans. And I promise you, I will fight as hard for those who did not support me as for those who did.
Yeah. Let's go. Whew.
Many centuries ago, St. Augustine, a saint of my church, wrote that a people was a multitude defined by the common objects of their love. Defined by the common objects of their love. What are the common objects we as Americans love that define us as Americans? I think we know. Opportunity, security, liberty, dignity, respect, honor, and yes, the truth. Recent weeks and months have taught us a painful lesson. There is truth and there are lies. Lies told for power and for profit. And each of us has a duty and a responsibility as citizens, as Americans, and especially as leaders who have pledged to honor our Constitution and protect our nation, to defend the truth and defeat the lies. Look, I understand that many of my fellow Americans view the future with fear and trepidation. I understand they worry about their jobs. I understand, like my dad, they lay in bed staring at the ceiling, wondering, can I keep my health care? Can I pay my mortgage? Thinking about their families, about what comes next. I promise you, I get it. But the answer is not to turn inward, to retreat into competing factions, distrusting those who don't look like you, or worship the way you do, or don't get their news from the same sources you do. We must end this uncivil war that pits red against blue, rural versus urban, or rural versus urban,
There we go.
conservative versus liberal.
There we go.
We can do this if we open our souls instead of hardening our hearts, if we show a little tolerance and humility, and if we're willing to stand in the other person's shoes, as my mom would say, just for a moment, stand in their shoes. Because here's the thing about life. There's no accounting for what fate will deal you. Some days, when you need a hand. There are other days when we're called to lend a hand. That's how it has to be. This is what we do for one another. And if we are this way, our country will be stronger, more prosperous, more ready for the future. And we can still disagree. My fellow Americans, in the work ahead of us, we're going to need each other. We need all our strength to persevere through this dark winter. We're entering what may be the toughest and deadliest period of the virus. We must set aside politics and finally face this pandemic as one nation. One nation. And I promise you this, as the Bible says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. We will get through this together. Together. Look, folks.
Here's the deal.
I serve with in the House and the Senate up here. We all understand the world is watching all of us today. So here's my message to those beyond our borders. America has been tested, and we've come out stronger for it. We will repair our alliances and engage with the world once again, not to meet yesterday's challenges, but today's and tomorrow's challenges. And we'll lead not merely by the example of our power, but by the power of our example.
Oh, boy.
We'll be a strong and trusted partner for peace, progress, and security. Look, you all know we've been through so much in this nation. And my first act as president, I'd like to ask you to join me in a moment of silent prayer. Remember all of those who we lost this past year to the pandemic. Those 400,000 fellow Americans, moms, dads, husbands, wives, sons, daughters, friends, neighbors, and coworkers. We'll honor them for becoming the people and the nation we know we can and should be. So I ask you, let's say a silent prayer for those who've lost their lives and those left behind, and for our country. Amen. Folks, this is a time of testing. We face an attack on our democracy and on truth, a raging virus, growing inequity, the sting of systemic racism, a climate in crisis, America's role in the world. Any one of these would be enough to challenge us in profound ways. But the fact is, we face them all at once, presenting this nation with one of the gravest responsibilities we've had. Now we're going to be tested. Are we going to step up, all of us? It's time for boldness, for there's so much to do. And this is certain. I promise you, we will be judged, you and I, by how we resolve these cascading crises of our era. We will rise to the occasion is the question. Will we master this rare and difficult hour? Will we meet our obligations and pass along a new and better world to our children? I believe we must. I'm sure you do as well. I believe we will. And when we do, we'll write the next great chapter in the history of the United States of America, the American story. A story that might sound something like a song that means a lot to me. It's called American Anthem. There's one verse that stands out, at least for me, and it goes like this. The work and prayers of century have brought us to this day.
And it goes a little something
Shall
like
be our
this.
legacy.
Hit it.
What will our children say? Let me know in my heart when my days are through. America, America, I gave my best to you. Let's us add our own work and prayers to the unfolding story of our great nation. If we do this, then when our days are through, our children and our children's children will say of us, they gave their best, they did their duty, they healed a broken land. My fellow Americans, I close the day where I began, with the sacred oath. Before God and all of you, I give you my word. I will always level with you. I will defend the Constitution. I'll defend our democracy. I'll defend America. And I'll give all of you, keep everything I do in your service, thinking not of power, but of possibilities, not of personal interest, but the public good. And together we shall write an American story of hope, not fear, of unity, not division, of light, not darkness, a story of decency and dignity, love and healing, greatness and goodness. May this be the story that guides us, the story that inspires us, and the story that tells ages yet to come that we answered the call of history. We met the moment. Democracy and hope, truth and justice did not die in our watch, but thrived. That America secured liberty at home and stood once again as a beacon to the world. That is what we owe our forebears, one another, and generation to follow. So, with purpose and resolve, we turn to those tasks of our time, sustained by faith, driven by conviction, and devoted to one another and the country we love with all our hearts. May God bless America, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, America.
Okay. Who do you point at? Where are those cats going? Okay, now what? He sat down.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Garth Brooks to perform Amazing Grace.
Garth Brooks. Hit it, boys. I ain't seen this dude in a long time.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun. We've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Let me ask you to sing this last verse with me. Not just the people here, but the people at home, at work, as one, united.
United.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound.
Yeah, he's from a little bit of weight, hasn't he?
Saved a wretch like me.
And of course, you can't see nobody singing along with him.
I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Did you guys notice he shook Pence's hand when I was waiting to shake Pence's hand, but he was going to walk past Kamala and she had to reach out to him? The Clintons. Dude. Bush. Okay. Later, country bumpkin.
Hard not to be reminded of President Obama's singing that same song at the Mother Emanuel Church.
Good point right here. Garth Brooks turned him down.
A song that in our culture is as close to both poetry
I got you,
and prayer
bitch.
as you could possibly come. And we're going to finish with those two things. Let me introduce Amanda Gorman, our nation's first ever National Poet Laureate.
Poet laureate. Okay.
Mr. President, Dr. Biden, Madam Vice President, Mr. Emhoff, Americans, and the world. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is.
I like how she's got her hair.
And yet the dawn is hours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny Black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first. We must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew, that even as we hurt, we hoped, that even as we tired, we tried, that we'll forever be tied together, victorious, not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promised glade, the hill we climb, if only we dare it, because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith we trust, for while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption. We feared it at its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be, a country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens. But one thing is certain: if we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. With every breath from my bronze pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the west. We will rise from the wind-swept northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked south. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
Holy shit.
Guys, that was awesome. Man, that was good.
Thank you, Amanda Gorman. Now for our benediction, I'm pleased to introduce Reverend Dr. Sylvester Beeman, the pastor of the Bethel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Wilmington, Delaware, a friend of President Biden for 30 years.
As a nation and people of faith gathered in this historical moment, let us unite in prayer. God, we gather under the beauty of your holiness and the holiness of your beauty. We seek your face, your smile, your warm embrace. we petition you once more in this celebration. We pray for divine favor upon our President, Joseph R. Biden, and our First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, and their family. We further ask that you would extend the same favor upon our Vice President, Kamala D. Harris, and our second gentleman, Doug Emhoff, and their family. More than ever, they and our nation need you. We need you, for in you we discover our common humanity. In our common humanity, we will seek out the wounded and bind their wounds. We will seek healing for those who are sick and diseased. We will mourn our dead. We will befriend the lonely, the least, and the left out. We will share our abundance with those who are hungry. We will do justly to the oppressed, acknowledge sin, and seek forgiveness, thus grasping reconciliation. In discovering our humanity, we will seek the good in and for all our neighbors. We will love the unlovable, remove the stigma of the so-called untouchables. We will care for our most vulnerable, our children, the elderly, emotionally challenged, and the poor. We will seek rehabilitation beyond correction. We will extend opportunity to those locked out of opportunity. We will make friends of our enemies. We will make friends of our enemies. People, your people, shall no longer raise up weapons against one another. We will rather use our resources for the national good and become a beacon of life and goodwill to the world. And neither shall we learn hatred anymore. We will lie down in peace, not make our neighbors afraid. In you, O God, we discover our humanity. In our humanity, we discover our commonness. Beyond the difference of color, creed, origin, political party, ideology, geography, and personal preferences. We'll become greater stewards of your environment, preserving the land, reaping from it a sustainable harvest, and securing its wonder and miracle-giving power for generations to come. This is our benediction, that from these hallowed grounds, where slaves labored to build this shrine and citadel to liberty and democracy, let us all acknowledge, from the indigenous Native American to those who recently received their citizenship, from the African American to those whose foreparents came from Europe and every corner of the globe, from the wealthy to those struggling to make it, from every human being, regardless of their choices, that this is our country. As such, teach us, O God. As such, teach us, O God, to live in it, love in it, be healed in it, and reconcile to one another in it, lest we miss kingdom's goal. To your glory, majesty, dominion, and power forever. Hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. In the strong name of our collective faith. Amen.
Please remain standing as the Armed Forces Color Guard retires our national colors.
Okay. I think this is the end. Wrong answer. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated and remain in your seats while the president and official party depart the platform. For safety reasons, your ushers will release your section in an organized manner, following the playing of our national march, The Stars and Stripes Forever.
All right. Well, that was that. Now, make no mistake, I will be the first one to criticize this administration. But I'm going to try my damnedest. Sorry, guys. Got a little tickle. I'm going to try my damnedest to operate under the idea that I will grant the idea that this administration is acting in good faith until they give us a reason not to. So that's how I'm going to approach this moving forward. I'm going to be critical. I've already been critical of his appointments. Let's put it that way. But I'll try and reserve judgment a little bit just for the first, couple months just to see. Now, I agree with this as well. They already hodgepodge on this and walked us back to $1,400 to give you a total of $2,000, as if that $600 is going to break the bank. Again, I totally understand that point. But for me personally, this is how I'm going to approach it. I'm going to assume good faith until they give us a reason, or give me personally a reason not to. And then I'll be increasing my critique as we go, as warranted. I'll give his administration credit where credit's due. And I will be very critical when it needs to be critiqued. Again, I'm just a guy that goes to work every day and comes home and does this type of stuff. I'm not a pundit. I'm not on the inside, but I can read. And that's how I'm going to approach this thing moving forward. I was supposed to have someone jumping on here with me, but he hasn't really answered. So looks like this stream is going to end a little earlier than I thought. Unless anybody wants to jump in here and give me their 2 cents. Again, I will put the invite here in the comment section. If anybody wants to jump in, they can. But that's kind of where we're at, man. It's like I thought I had somebody coming here to join me. He wanted to talk about his platform. And I was going to, try and help him any way I could to bring up the awareness of what he's doing. But he hasn't answered yet, unfortunately. So I'm going to end it here soon, unless anybody else wants to jump in here. But yeah, I got some things that I got to take care of, some car stuff too today. But yeah, I took the whole day off. But yeah, so for now, I'm going to be critical as we go. Hey, Ariel, how's it going, bro?
Hi.
What's up, man?
What's up? Going well. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yep, you're pretty good. Loud and clear.
Okay, excellent. I just wanted to hear the audio. Yeah, like you said, just like all these promises should that politicians make should come with tracking numbers, really, because like that's the way that like when a company makes a promise, if they break a promise, like it comes with like a consequence. Their reputation, you get a refund, stuff like that happens. But in politics, like you have to wait like a whole kind of like 4 years until you can get somebody else, and that somebody else can do the exact same thing. So we should just see just if the things that they say about like giving opportunities to those who don't have opportunities, and to like we're going to pay more attention to those who are struggling, if that's actually happening by the numbers, or it's just these big lofty words and nothing really happens after that.
Well, that's my thing too. They've written a blank check in a way with some verbiage, lip service. So now what gives me hope is Bernie Sanders. He's in charge of the budget. He's the chair of the budget committee. That'll give him a lot of leverage and a lot of push and pull, if you will, in the Senate. And I really, really, really think if there's ever a time to get universal health care and reoccurring cash payments, it's going to be now with Bernie on that seat with all that power to move us in that direction, to progress us. But I think all the talk of representing the downtrodden has to be rectified with policies that speak.
Yes.
So it can't just be a bunch of lip service and pandering. I hate these ceremonies because it's just 100% pandering.
Right, dog and pony show kind of thing.
It's rah-rah cheerleading.
Yeah.
And also, but I must say, low-key taking some shots at Trump too. It's kind of funny that I forgot that Donald Trump invited Garth Brooks and he turned it down and he showed up for Biden. That's kind of fucked up and I like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously with Trump, it was all just narcissism and ego. Yep. And with a lot of politicians, like, it's just not that obvious. It's like, but what I find is like really dumb is like, oh, we like Trump because he speaks his mind, but so does a 6-year-old. It's like, girls have cooties, make him president. He's speaking his mind. It's like, it's kind of childish, but like people who really need like a signal boost, like all of these like poor downtrodden people, they how can I say this? They usually don't get as much, media attention as the people who are already up there. So I don't know if you know of this lady, but her name is Jacqueline Human, and she lives in Pennsylvania, and she's been through generational poverty. So I think a lot of people who are in generational poverty should have more screen time instead of all these people who are already on the up and up and are constantly hogging the mic.
Yeah, I haven't heard of her. Now, at least I might have, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, I did an interview with her, and I can forward that to you. And like Russell from what was it?
Grassroots.
Grassroots. Yeah, he did an interview with Jacqueline. So I can either send you the one that I did, or the one.
She's the homeless lady that was.
No. She's not homeless, but she was trafficked as a child, and she's living in really, really dire straits, and like she's a diabetic as well. And she's like trying to, sometimes it's like impossible for her to get her supplies, and her husband is getting some money from Social Security, but she has zero income and she's taking care of her husband. And it's a really, really it's you'd think that these kind of conditions, like you'd see them in third world countries, but you're seeing them here, and they need to be exposed, so everyone can know about it.
Well, I was actually talking to Erica Rhodes and Reverend Wendy about this last night. We need to have our basics must be met, and I mean the lowest of the low, which are people that don't have homes and have no resources to get a home. So to me, we need to have universal housing, universal income, and universal health care, because life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness can't happen as freely as it should happen without those three things being met. Hey, Fred, thanks for joining us, brother. See ya, man.
That's for sure. And I said that no one can build a foundation on quicksand, right?
Nope.
Because it's like it keeps sucking you in. So like bills are going to be reoccurring. Buying groceries is going to be reoccurring. Rent is going to be reoccurring. But if you don't have like a base, all the bills kind of act as this quicksand that pulls you down. I mean, that's why we don't have young people worrying about finances when they're in school. You can't expect a seed to tell a seed to grow into a tree, and you'll water it after. But this is what we expect from some people. It's the dumbest thing. We'll get you some help after you get the things that you don't have access to, then we'll help you. How stupid is that? You know?
Do you live in Erica's district?
No, I don't live in her district. I live adjacent to her district. No.
She said once this next step for her is ground game, man, and we're gonna need you guys out there to hit the ground for her and knock on doors and get into Congress. Could you imagine her and Reverend Wendy?
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Getting Washington D.C. to be recognized as statehood in Puerto Rico, statehood.
Yeah, I loved what they said, that not everybody needs a college education.
Yep.
Especially coming from a teacher, because there's so many different people that learn in different ways and have different interests and hobbies and things that they like. But we have a system that just wants to funnel everybody into the academic route, and it's just so dumb.
Well, we need just reform of standards, like the universal standards is like, okay, you must be able to take in this information, regurgitate it once every 4 years, like for an SAT or something to get into Michigan or something.
Like, let me say, I never had an employer that wanted me to recite Shakespeare or read the periodic table of elements. Like, no employer has ever asked me for my grade point average or
your
care.
GPA, exactly.
Or like no employer has ever asked me to write them a 5-paragraph essay with MLA format.
Yeah. Or like, I didn't get a job at Lowe's because I got an A in wood shop.
Right.
You know, it doesn't work like that.
Right, exactly. But that's the kind of thing that they shove in your throat when you're going through the schooling system.
Yeah.
That this is going to count for your whole entire life. And if you do bad here, not only that, but it discourages you from taking risks, because the only way people learn is like, you fail, you learn from that failure, and then you try it again. And it's like a trial and error. But school says you fail, it goes on your permanent record, and you're screwed.
Crystal's got a good point here. Not everyone needs a college education, but everyone should have the opportunity to go if that's what they want. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pursuit, life, liberty, justice, and the pursuit of happiness.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of it. If you want to go to college, the resources are there. They're there. We were talking about this last night too. It costs more money to put you in an institution than to educate you and make you the most employable. It's cheaper. Right. It is a cost savings. It doesn't make any sense. But I want to talk about Eric to this another time, or some other teachers I know. If you have someone like she talked about last night, this kid has a difficult time learning and paying attention, has some ADHD problems, focusing. But if you give him math problems, he's kind of like, it's overwhelming because it doesn't apply. But yet she showed him, they took him to a school where they have a shoe repair shop in the basement of the school. And she said that kid lit up and was focused. And I thought that was a great example of an idea of how we could approach learning differently, to say, okay, he doesn't learn math in the XY axis, right? He needs the XYZ. He needs the real in IRL, If you could take math and turn it into a shoe repair problem, you know what I mean? Like, if he loves that idea of shoe repair, if he loves the idea of fixing things, you could have him figure out the square area of a shoe,
right?
You know what I mean? Or make him figure out if you had 50 shoes you had to fix, and you can make a story problem, engage him and inspire him to think harder and visualize it better. I think that's what some people struggle with, is story problems versus just the 2-axis on piece of paper. Absolutely great. Yep. Kinesthetic learning. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, it was the same thing with me in 3D printing. Like, like when I took these 3D printing classes at my local YWCA, actually, it was so nice because, like, I'm a creatively oriented person, and it was an X, Y, and Z axis. And I kept creating things in this software called Fusion 360 and extruding them. And then every time I would kind of like turn on the 3D printer and make a raft and like do all these things, I was like off to the races. And then I was just a natural at it. So that's what I don't even see why we need like 12 years of school. Once people get the basics down of math, arithmetic, and reading and writing, it's like, okay, what do they have a passion for? And how can we just like engage that passion that they have in a serious way and figure out how they can make money with it? And boom, like, why are we wasting so many people's so much time?
I really think high school should be considered a vocational preparatory thing.
Right.
Say, okay, you're in 8th grade. You've found to be sufficient. You can learn by reading. You can do basic arithmetic. You know how to use a computer. You understand you've taken your history classes and all that shit. Why do you got to take them again?
Yeah.
So to me, you have the foundations by middle school, because I'm telling you what my kids learned in middle school is the shit I learned in high school. These kids are being pushed, right? So why can't high school say, okay, you're going to be a freshman next year. What industries entertain you? What are your passions today? And they could say, I want to be a game coder or whatever. I want to do graphic arts. I want to go in the fashion industry, and find a way to give them opportunity to say, okay, you're going to get 3 hours of your day in high school is going to be researching and learning these skills to say, okay, I'm going to learn how to, if you want to be like a coder, you're going to take a coding class and again, it doesn't require college.
And I think what's really, really, really stupid is just career day is once a year in high school. Once a year, make it a whole month, you dumbasses. Like it just pisses me off. And it's like, but all the career professionals come to the school to give talks. Why don't you get the students and send them to where people are actually doing work so they can actually see what's going on? I mean, it's a no-brainer, and they don't do that. Stupid.
Well, Crystal here, she's in Australia. She says, kind of disagree. I think school should start at 3 years old. I also agree that preparatory elementary stuff should be preschool should be funded as well. But have vocational education included in the normal schooling path. That's what I was saying.
I agree with that.
9th grade, your vocational training starts at 9th grade. So if you think if you're like, okay, I want to start a business building furniture, maybe that's your thing. You want to build furniture, then you get them into a shop class every single day for half the damn day. They can start learning. And I think we need to have more mentorship programs. So, okay. Of course, we can't offer everything everywhere because there's not a mentor for, say, building furniture everywhere. But there is YouTube. YouTube is an online university. I bought a Husqvarna riding lawnmower, and I don't know my ass from Adam when it comes right down to it mechanically. I've never owned a lawnmower like that. I didn't know how to change the oil or the oil filter or the belts and spark plugs and the wires. I didn't know any of that shit. I went on YouTube, and all of a sudden, hey, if you have a problem with your lawnmower, I can probably fix it for you.
Right.
Well, goddamn. So to me, if you have someone who has a passion to fix small engines, they can learn in high school. So when they get out, they're ready. They have a business plan to be an entrepreneur, or they have a path to education, a higher education to say, I want to get into small engine repair school, or, you have 4 years to prepare for college or vocational training or entrepreneurship or just basic employment, and have access to more detailed funding and training and stuff like that.
And
school for 4 years for a basic degree again,
and also like these schools should be held accountable when people don't have jobs at the end. That's what amazes me.
Exactly.
Nice idea, Fred. And it's like, okay, so like a student doesn't pass school if they get like a D or below. But if the school's job placement rate is like 60% or below, they failed their graduates, so there should be some consequences for that, especially if you know that these graduates were like actively seeking a job for a couple of months and couldn't get one, then yeah, the school should be held accountable, because it's like that. And the schools should have better ties with the community to see like where are the openings for some of these people who are going to graduate, where like how can we line up students for success after they graduate, and don't make it for profit that the students have to like pay for that, because it's like then you know what's the point if you're going to just graduate and live with your parents for the next 10 years.
Well, here's a good point here too. He said, Lemon Lime here says, so annoying to be the first in my family to go to university, only graduate in 08 and find my career means nothing.
Same with me.
And the only saving grace didn't cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars. When you say university, it means you're not in America, probably. So it probably was free college, but still it wasted 4 years or 8 years or whatever it was.
Right. Look, even if you paid me like $2,000 a semester to go to university, but I'm not employable, it's still like a net loss for the opportunities I didn't have. Well, even if you got paid. Right. And your time.
Wasting. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I really do think that we could, again, the richest country in the world. Why doesn't New York City look like Dubai?
Right.
You know, why doesn't America just look better, cleaner?
Yeah.
Cleaner water, cleaner air. Flint, Michigan is still a problem.
Right.
We are failing at all points, and we have the money. Bezos made more money. Bezos made enough money since this pandemic started to give every single person $27,000 in this.
Right. Here's what I kind of see it as. If you have a person with like pneumonia who's about to die in a couple of months or something like that, and you hire like 20 bodyguards for that person, you're an idiot. The person's problem is internal. It's with their health. 20 bodyguards aren't going to help. So it's like our country has like an internal disease, an internal rot, and we're hiring bodyguards to defend a body with tons of health problems. With that's for bodyguards are like if somebody wants to hurt that person, if somebody wants to come from outside, bodyguards are not good for like a health problem. And this is how dumb we are as a nation, that we have all these the disease is health, it's internal, and yet we're looking at the outside, what's going to come as a threat from there.
Yeah, it's like putting a lipstick on a pig, man.
Right, exactly.
No,
I saw it said like Al Qaeda's new plan for America's destruction is just to sit down and watch the show. It's like
we don't need any help.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. It's like the idea that if I get cancer, they're gonna buy me a new pair of shoes.
Right.
Like, what the hell? We have the resources. Why are you buying shoes for me?
Right.
I need cancer treatments, you know, or right. Like, I mean, as far as an analogy where we need to be focused on where we put our resources, preventative maintenance. I really do think schools are the way to go. Keep people out of the school to prison pipeline.
Yeah. Well, it's like the story of King Midas. You know, everything he touched turned into gold, but then he couldn't drink and eat anything.
Right.
Because he kept touching. It's like, well, what's the point of having all of this if like you're gonna die? It's like no. And then people say, what about freedom? You know, and like people shouldn't be. Well, let me tell you something. If I put you in a boat in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean with like that ran out of gas, you have plenty of freedom. You're gonna die because you can't drink. You know, you the food's gonna run out and stuff like that. So you know, there's a thing. I can put you in the middle of a field in Kansas with like tons and tons of open space, but like leave you with like nothing, and you're not going to make it, you know? So, you know, there's freedom, and then there's having your basic needs met so you can do something with the freedom that you have.
Yeah.
Right.
We have to hold this administration accountable. Again, I'm going to approach this thing with the idea of good intentions.
Yeah.
I'm very critical of these fucking hacks that he's already put in charge, from Goldman Sachs and Stryker and the typical players, you know. Pete Buttigieg is in charge of cars and trains and planes. But I'm skeptical because of the foundation he's laid. But I think he has good intentions, and I'm gonna grant him that until he gives me a reason not to. But when he does, I'm gonna gut him.
Yeah, good idea. And then I think that Yang kind of did this thing in reverse, where it's usually mayors of New York that run for president, but he ran for president. Now he's running for mayor, and I think at being mayor, he has like the more of the bona fides to go and do it in 2024.
He has more power to make direct. The more local your government, the more effect it has on you as a community. And I think he's got the right approach, man. He's going to all the boroughs and talk to people on the ground and asking about what's the problems, talking to the leadership. And I think he has an opportunity. I called this a month ago when they started talking about him running for mayor. They're like, you think it's a good idea? I was like, it's a good idea for him. It's not what's best for the country per se, but what can he do for the country? I don't know. Nothing right now, apparently. Besides humanity forward and getting money in people's hands. But now he has one of the biggest budgets in the country for a city. And he's going to take $1 billion of their budget and give it to the lowest 500,000 people, which means every single person is going to get $2,000 a year right out the gate. Now that's $1 billion. Now, if he can get $12 billion, that's $2,000 a month. If he gets $6 billion, it's a universal basic income of $1,000 a month. Now in New York, it doesn't go as far, of course. But I think that the idea of him implementing things at a local level, he's already introduced great ideas, which I called this shit, man. Legalize marijuana, legalize psilocybin, magic mushrooms, and legalize sex work. And he's already talked about that, and putting a casino in where the governor's island is at. That is fucking genius.
Interesting.
Why does the governor need to live there? Fuck that. I got a house. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's put a casino there and make that a moneymaker to fund the city. And if that wouldn't be a tourist, so you have a casino, legalized recreational parties, if you will. Everything's legal, and it's a moneymaker. And help take people from homelessness to out of poverty. I mean, it really $2,000 a year is not going to cut it.
Right.
But it is.
It's a start.
That's right. It's a damn good start to say, okay, $1 billion. Let's see how much we can help these people with $2,000 right out the gate. Boom, here's $2,000. And I think that's a start. And then he's going to get people from the outside to match donations. I think there's still very, very wealthy people in New York.
Yeah. And I hope he has the kind of like strength to call out this administration if they're not on the straight and narrow, she call it. That has to be done. I mean, I just hope this whole thing was just to get Trump out of office, but now it's like there's no excuses. Like if this happens, because it's like they keep using the Republicans as like, oh, it's because of them, but now it's like, okay, let's really be like keeping our eye on what they do, because I'm telling you, if in another 4 years like we don't get big fixes, someone can come along who's even worse than Trump. And I mean, that's the way it works. Like the Democrats get in power, they make all these like big promises, and then they fail to deliver. And then a Republican comes by and says that they're the establishment and thing, and then they get in power, and then they run it into the ground, and then it's just a cycle. And it's like, enough, you know.
Well, and I'm interested in the relationship he has with Cuomo, the governor and the city mayor, or the mayor of the city and then the governor of the state. I'm interested to see that relationship develop. Because he already has a damn good in with his brother, so I think there's going to be some good faith discussions there too. And I'm interested to see how he handles that. But I tell you what, Andrew Yang has got his work. He's got to win a race that's damn near unwinnable. He's leading, but those are fucking polls, and we know they're all bullshit.
Right.
Polls don't matter until it's over. You can look back to see if they're accurate. They're not predictive to me. So it says the highest one I saw was like 27 to 30% is what he has right now going into it. I think the more he talks, the higher that number is going to go. Honestly, there's like 35 people running. But as it narrows down, what I'm worried about is he's leading right now. But if all the people that are business as usual politicians in New York start to drop out, they're all going to consolidate and pull a Biden on Bernie type of approach. So yeah, the Fredo bros.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't like that shit. Would you fucking say to me, bitch? You know.
Yeah.
And they're no punks, man. Those some solid dudes. Chris Cuomo's a big boy.
Yeah.
But I think that the fact that everyone's punching up shows that he's a threat. And that's the only danger I see moving forward is either they're going to hate him and join forces to say we don't want him here. And they'll try and play that whole bullshit that he's not a real New Yorker. And of course, that just gives him fuel, man. He goes, come say it to my face, because I'm telling you what, right now, no one can say.
I think like after what happened in the presidential campaign, Yang's just sick and tired of all this like Fox outrage, these controversies, and all this other BS. And he's hopefully he's gonna push back a little more than he did when he was running for president.
He already did. You know, when they said about not being a real New Yorker, he's like, I tell them to come say it to my face.
Right.
I was raised here. I was here when the towers fell. I opened my first business here. I got married here. I had my kids here. You know, and people are doubting him. And it is a little bit of racist bullshit when it comes right down to it. He's not black or white. He's not a real New Yorker. He's an Asian. You know, and I think that's a little bit, but I try not to play into that too much because I don't like playing identity politics, but others do.
Yeah.
But I just don't think, I think they don't like it because he's a big guy that just jumped in and just fucked up their plans too.
Right.
Fucked up their plans so bad that they're salty, man.
Well, I mean, then don't run to be a politician. Like that's the problem with our whole society is like all these entitled people seeking a public to be a public servant when it's not about being a public servant. It's just about their own egos and their own clout and all this stuff. And then they don't like when someone comes along. Well, if you don't like it when someone else comes along, solve actual problems instead of just being a self-serving prick.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, we have an interesting time. The primary is June 20th. 22nd, June 22nd is the primary. So in all actuality, the general's not until November, but it's a blue district. So if you win your primary, you win the general. It's a victory lap in November, right? But I plan on going there in June, early June, like the first week of June. As soon as my kids are out of school, I'm going to take a week off of work, and get there myself and stay for like a week, maybe two, if my employer will let me. And I think this would be a good thing. And then that's just momentum going into 2022 for people running for U.S. Congress like Erica and Reverend Wendy. And I hope more people jump in. I'm looking into it, and so is Ron Marzette in Michigan specifically that I know of. And there's others around the country. I hope what's his name in Florida? The young guy. I hope he runs again.
Adam
Christensen, yes.
Yeah.
I hope he runs again. I hope all the people with Ojeda's crew, the No Dems Left Behind crew, and you've got David Kim. God dang it!
Yeah,
that really sucked, man. Man.
Me too. I don't know. I think the people they got like overshadowed by like the Trump thing that was going on, some of them. And the other ones, probably they're like, oh, this is no time to like pull something off because Trump is such a threat. So we just need these like establishment people in there, which is like completely just idiotic. But I think this time around in 2022, it's going to be different because Biden's already in, all these establishment Democrats are already in. And if we don't see anything substantial in the next year, then people are going to be like, okay, like maybe like we it's not Democrat, it's not Republican. We just need people fighting for us. These DNRs, don't mean crap. I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, man, is momentum. This is something he could win and could give us more momentum for other candidates. and I think we've got an opportunity here. But again, we
Yeah.
just gotta. So we can't complain about stuff we can't change.
Mhm.
We can't complain, but
Yeah, definitely can.
we can't focus our energy there. So to
We-
me, we got to focus our energy. Like for me,
Yeah,
ranked choice voting is
we just gotta focus our energy and just like growing the awareness of this new Yang style of politics.
Mhm.
So how do we reach out to like more of an audience? How do we get more audience acquisition is just what I'm thinking of how that happens. And how did the other channels do it? What did they do that got them, to where they are? And we have to study that, and we have to like, we have to use all like the data on science and see how we can go viral somehow, or see what we can do to get a lot of eyeballs on us. Yeah.
Hey, Crystal, thanks for joining us. She's out. She's in Australia. It's the middle of the night for her.
All right. Yeah. Good night.
Probably 2 a.m. for you over there in Australia.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited that now we can turn the page. And guess what, guys? You'll see on the 20th. We didn't see shit, MAGA idiots. You freaking maggots.
Yeah.
Blowhards, man. They shot their wad on the 6th and they missed. It's over.
Right.
Your chamber
Yeah.
empty. Half your leaders are arrested, and the rest of them are scared and hiding where they belong.
Right.
In the shadows. And
It's pretty scary.
Yeah, DC went by nice. Now, what I'm worried about is state capitals. That's another thing I can see them doing is focusing on one state, like Michigan, and they'll try that shit again. And now that Parler is down, they're gonna have to go into even darker corners.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna create a website that only people know about with a private link and what kind of secured chatter bullshit, 4chan kind of stuff. Again. So that's what I'm concerned about. I don't think Trump should be banned from Twitter for the rest of his life. I don't think anyone should be banned like that. Because I don't like censorship. This is not a freedom of speech thing.
Right. Yeah.
But censorship nonetheless. It's a powerful censorship.
Well, I think maybe in a couple of weeks, all of all the Trump supporters who are not batshit insane, we can get them on our side. I'm just hoping for that. The ones that are, just a little bit tethered to reality. Just I don't know how much that is, but the ones that are, were like, okay, we know that you're pissed off that the Democrats are just talking about like identity politics and just like all this stuff, but like we actually have a solution as like this new trickle up economy, and we can kind of build a coalition like that, and get all the people who are like disengaged and they're like, oh, we're back to Obama times since Biden was elected, so it's just going to be a repeat of the Obama years. We can say like, hey, there's also Yang right here, and you can push for like the Biden administration to do these like cash relief stuff, and I think we'll engage more people like that instead of just the angry like stuff.
Well, I'm actually meeting with the chair of my county's Republican Party chair. I'm actually meeting with him on Saturday to have a talk, because I want to talk to him and let him know, hey, listen, I'm thinking about running against your candidate for my district. Let's talk.
Good idea.
And he's like, that'd be great. I'd love to talk. He goes, the Democrats had a good candidate last time. I think he was misguided is the word he used. And he was very young. He's only 22 years old. So, okay, what are you going to say about me? Because I'm not young. And I don't feel like I'm misguided. I have principles and I can back them up with data. So I'm going to talk to him about it and say, hey, man, I want to challenge your candidate because these are the flaws I see in her system. And she's not a very flawed candidate either. She just sticks to her principles of conservatism, which is what she got nominated to do. Let's be real.
Right. And I also think like we should really call out things like virtue signaling and clout chasing and stuff like that as a unit, because I don't think that has any more place right now. People need like substantial relief and help and something tangible. And we like I'm so sick and tired of just like just people congratulating themselves and circle jerking just because they said something nice, but nothing really happened after that.
Right.
Like that got stopped. That's just sick, and that's why Republicans don't like Democrats, because of that, because of all the virtue signaling going on and like the snobbish behavior. We can say that like we're kind of like Democrats in here who are the opposite of that, and that can attract some more of them. I hope
so. Well, and Che here says that I was right about the Proud Boys. What did I say about which part of the Proud Boys was I right about? I want to know about this because they're a horrible, racist, fascist group. All they care about is violence. That's all they're there for. They're like, it's like a fight club for these fucking weirdos, and a racist fight club now. Yeah, they're weak and they're few numbers. They're very few numbers. They had a couple thousand people across the country. They're no bigger than a low-level gang in jail.
I remember the joke. It's like the Proud Boy Scouts.
I liked it when the Proud Boys were overtaken. Their hand taken by the LGBT community, giving kissing. That was awesome.
Like what are they proud of? Like being racist? Like
I'm proud of my genitalia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is not gonna be a live conversation. This is me and him talking. Just me and him talking. And he's a business guy that wants to start a podcast network here locally. And me and him are going to be working together on podcasting to help him set up this podcast network to help, to help people. So we have a guy here in my hometown, actually, not where I live, but in my hometown close. He retired from the military, and he's going to start a business where he's going to help develop rural entrepreneurship. Very Yang-like, but a conservative.
Nice.
He's in the military for 24 years. Special.
Yeah, like that. That's the thing. Good intentions are good intentions, whether someone has a D or an R. I mean, it's so. I'm so sick of the tribalism. I'm just so over it. It's just so dumb, and like it's all a show, and it's all just like you know, it's like a football game. Like, oh, my team, and it's not not helpful. It's not productive. That's it.
Well, and he said that they're gonna be talking about like at their next meeting, like, okay, guys, are we a Trump party or are we conservatives? Let's have a show of hands, because we need to figure this thing out to move this county forward for them as a Republican Party. So I'm gonna be interested to be a part of that conversation, and that's the bridges we got to build. That's how we grow, Ariel. That's as we were saying earlier. That's how you grow. You reach across the aisle, or there is no aisle. You stand in the chasm. You're lost in the woods. You build a house, man. You know, you're no longer lost. You're in the woods.
Yeah,
you know, it's
exactly.
Home. So my new home is going to be in this big gap. So right now I feel like politically I'm lost in the woods, and I'm gonna start chopping down trees and build me a fucking house.
Yeah, that's it. And I think like I don't know if like a lot of like Trump supporting or conservative Yang gang have kind of like, I don't know, like gotten so mad and angry, but I'm wondering if they're just gonna simmer down and they can come back in, or you know,
Well, we'll find out, you know, because there's Twitter Yang gang, which is very fucking I want to say like factioned,
right?
You know, there's a lot of factions to it. It's almost like a religion. You have denominations of Christianity, denominations of Judaism and Islam.
Ridiculous.
So we don't need to have a religious ideology. We need to have just a common goal. So so I'm looking forward to talking to this guy here to learn more about their goals as a Republican Party for the county. And I told him, I was like, listen, I'm not a Democrat. I'm thinking about running independent. I told him, I was like, I'm not a Republican. I just don't stand by some of your guys' stuff, man. And he's like, I'd love to talk about it. I was like, let's do it, man. So I'll let you guys know how that goes. I'm going to look into that.
Definitely.
I want to run. I just don't know what I can run for and what district I'm even going to live in, because we're redrawing our entire maps, because we have an anti-gerrymandering board that's redrawing the maps. And the goal is to make every district 50-50. You know what I mean? Like, that's their goal. And so we want every district to be competitive. And so I
Good
think
idea.
it's a good start, and it's gonna be about, I think it's gonna be like 70,000 people per district is what they're saying. So no matter who you are, you represent the same number of constituents. So it's a
Right.
good start in Michigan. Michigan's very progressive on policy. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, keep us updated, and anything you need, and we're definitely here to just keep the people who are in right now in the seats of power, just keep their feet to the fire.
Yep,
And
got to hold them
that's just it.
accountable.
Yeah, definitely.
None of this will be live. This will all just be a conversation at his office, really. But I'm gonna talk about it later, in a video, probably once I get an idea. What I'm doing with him. Yeah, I don't want to feel. I don't want him to feel exploited, or used. Just a private conversation. I'll share it. But I want to find out where they're at, because I'm interested. Where's the Republican Party at now? Today's the 20th. You are no longer in charge. Now what are you going to do? Are you going to do some soul searching, or are you going to double down on your ideology, which is going to be interesting?
Yeah, exactly. And I hope it's the end of like political fanboyism and like these times of like treating politicians like they're celebrities. That's one thing that makes me want to puke. It's like they're there to serve the people. It's shouldn't be about clout and ego, but that's what it turns into.
We got to be careful about that too with Andrew. That's why I made a video saying who's the next Andrew Yang. Everybody's like, Andrew's next Andrew Yang. I'm like, no, he's not. He's Andrew.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Who's the next person? I nominate I nominated Scott Santons. I want him to be the rep for the people.
Yeah. Like
it's in New York.
Right. It's about like his ideas and what he wanted to change. Yeah. It's not about like the clothes he's wearing or he's Asian and like stuff like that. Yeah, 100%. I mean, if somebody ran against Andrew in 2024 and they had like a UBI and ranked choice voting, and they had like other ideas on like, how to create more abundance in the world, or like 3D printing classes and schools and stuff like that, hey, I might vote for them.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm not like,
just got to bring better policies to be
right. I'm not if somebody runs on better policies than Andrew, I'm not gonna be like when Andrew ran and then Bernie Sanders people were like, it's Bernie's time. No, it's like he's not entitled to anything. He had good ideas, and that was good, and that was great, and he was doing it for the right reasons. And if somebody else comes along who has better ideas and better reasons, hey, go ahead. I mean, hope to anyone.
That's why I make sure. Like, I really think Scott Santons would be a good lobbyist for the people. I'd like to see Scott Santons walk in the halls of Congress, having calm, rational, data-bathed discussions.
Yeah,
there's not a single talking point you can get past Scott Santons.
Right.
If he was in Congress right now, starting today, all the new people are being sworn in today. New Congress is assembling. If he was there on day one to say, okay, guys, here's the data, here's the numbers, here's the principles. Are you with us? Can we count on you? What will it take for you to get on board with this package of get rid of all that bloating bullshit they have right now? Again, we have a package that's been sent up that's got all these things attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
Just pass a stimulus package for the fucking people, not for all
case closed
bullshit. Tulsi the first time, 3 pages. Tulsi Gabbard,
right?
3 pages.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Like it reminds you, there's no need for people to make things unnecessarily complicated. I mean, you don't go to a doctor and they cut up more of your body and they're like, what? Like that wasn't, they're like, oh, I need the practice. So I'm just like, slashing more stuff and doing all this unnecessary surgery on this patient that I have.
Right.
And that's what they're doing with us. They're doing unnecessary surgery. It's like, they're stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I'm gonna end this stream here in a minute.
Cool.
I'm gonna do some more work today, and the trickle up and the low. We're gonna be doing daily news. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel because we got big things in the works. I can't really talk about the big thing we got coming here in the coming weeks, but we're gonna start making not daily content yet because we don't have the infrastructure for that yet. We're going to do 2 days a week. So tonight we're going to be recording for tomorrow's news cycle. Of course, we're going to be talking about all this shit, but one thing at a time.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to it. Best of luck, boys.
Yeah, guys. So thanks for joining me, Ariel. We'll do it again, of course. And Biden's president.
Yeah, and don't forget to open up that link, the interview thing that I sent you. So maybe she can be a guest on the low because she's experiencing all that stuff firsthand.
Yeah,
but that's about it. All right,
guys.
Bye.
Take care. Yang gang. 2 hours. We made it.